InDriver has entered the New York ride-hail market with a Priceline-style model. The city is its first in the U.S., its 11th country since launching in Siberia in 2012. Photo courtesy, InDriver. Correction, this article has been updated to accurately state the number of cities in which InDriver currently operates, and the order of its launches. It is in 160 cities, not 139, the U.S. is its 11th country, not its 10th. A ride-hail app new to New York lets you set a price for your trip, sort of. There's a $15 minimum and its nearby drivers can accept your fare or counter offer. It might become a haggle session, or it could ease a major pain point of using ride-hail in crowded cities: shocking fares. New Yorkers knew the struggle of getting a cab at rush hour or during bad weather until Uber, Lyft and others came along. Now they know the pain of a ride being certain, but only because they pay an opportunistic driver who has been incentivized to work during crunch time by the higher fares that allow fatter commissions. It's called surge pricing, and it's made some wary of swiping up an Uber. But drivers get short shrift by the unexpected too. Depending on where in its driver-friendly policy journey a ride-hail service has been in the last few years, drivers might have to commit to a passenger without knowing the destination. That is, they're contractually obligated to zip across town 2 miles to ferry someone 5 blocks. InDriver, a ride-hail app newly based in New York after growing internationally since its Yakutsk, Siberia launch in 2012, believes it can make everyone happy. It first balanced such competing interests in a legendarily cold Siberian winter. Taxi drivers, not Uber drivers, jacked up prices when it was minus 45 degrees Celsius and locals took matters into their own hands, negotiating ride prices via a social network as the Independent Drivers Group. Independent Drivers Condensed became the company name InDriver, and the micro-marketplace for ride pricing was named the Real-Time Deals (RTD) model. Before targeting New York, the concept expanded into 160 cities in 9 countries outside Russia, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Guatemala, El Salvador, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan and Tanzania. The company is unrelated to the New York-based Independent Drivers Guild, a ride-hail drivers union. A $10 million B round last August from Moscow-based Lida Capital helped the upstart move its headquarters stateside and prepare to take on U.S. markets. With its New York City launch, which includes peripheral boroughs Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and Staten Island, InDriver currently operates in a total of 160 cities in 11 countries. It's an ambitious start, trying out such a concept on some of the world's most expert commuters and unbridled negotiators, in a dynamic regulatory environment. Local policymakers and the Ride-Hail Drivers Union recently attempted to restrict ride-hail, and a new congestion fee aimed at pricing drivers out of rush hour takes effect in January. So why start U.S. operations here? The sheer volume of commuters going in and out of Manhattan every day, people who would prefer some form of for-hire transportation over public transit if it could be made affordable. InDriver North America CEO Sasha Oziran said in a phone interview that according to InDriver's own research, over 4 million people commute every day in and out of New York. A longer ride, one to or from an outer borough, places those commuters above InDriver's $15 minimum fare, the sweet spot where a passenger saves money but the driver can still earn. And even above that minimum, a driver can seek to shift the offer in 10% increments. We are fair not only to passengers but to the drivers as well, Oziran said. We don't penalize drivers for not accepting a ride, but that policy also shields riders from the abrupt cancellations that strand ride-hail users. A driver who knows what the ride looks like end-to-end is less likely to ditch it when gridlock traffic en route feels like too much of an investment for what might be a $5 fare. Of course, to get a toehold in New York, InDriver needs the drivers that create the fleet that is a ride-hail firm's critical asset. To supply its frugal passengers, InDriver will recruit drivers at driver hops and airport waiting zones and let word-of-mouth take over. It will retain those recruits by waiving its own commission for the first 6 months of operation. Drivers will pocket the entire price of the ride less variable local taxes, variable tolls, a 2.5% black car fund surcharge, a 3.55% processing and bank fee, and a 20-cent fee for each earnings payout. The company has not yet decided who, in-driver, contracted driver, or customer, will absorb the new $2.75 fee come January. Past June, in-driver promises to only deduct 5% to 8% of every driver's take. That leaves its share below the ride-hail market average. That average is 30% to 40%, according to Ride-Hail blog The Rideshare Guys Breakdown, but drivers are accustomed to earning right away, rather than in drivers' weekly pay cycle. Next day funds as in Uber's Instant Pay, Lyft's Express Pay, or third-party pay advance or daily pay, won't be available for up to 4 months. Even with in-drivers an app dashboard to track their pending transfers, will it be enough to get them on a new platform that requires daily negotiation with their passengers? In-driver thinks so, judging from how it's betting on itself, a pricey lease at Rockefeller Center, up to 30 planned full-time U.S. hires, and a new international presence in Tanzania. Operations. Their market's entry into Africa. Ozirin declined to name the next U.S. cities in the pipeline. "We would like to keep it as a surprise," she said. "Right now we are putting all our efforts and forces around New York.